Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to answer where I think AMD stock price could be 5 years from now. So I'm going to make a 5-year target price for AMD stock. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Alright, so to make this stock price prediction for AMD, I'm going to need a few numbers, some estimates, and some forecasts. Starting with its 2025 earnings per share estimate. So analysts on Wall Street that are following AMD stock think it could deliver $5.47 in earnings per share in 2025. I'm also going to need the next 5 years expected earnings per share growth rate. So the same analysts on Wall Street that are following AMD stock, they think the company could increase earnings per share by roughly 25% per year for the next 5 years. Now that's a robust earnings per share forecast, and it takes into account AMD's poised to position from the benefit of rising effectiveness of artificial intelligence. So that's accounted for in this robust earnings per share forecast. Still, nobody knows what's going to happen in the future, and these are just estimates. These are forecasts from the analysts on Wall Street that are following AMD stock. Some think it could be higher, some think it could be lower. This is a consensus among all of those analysts that are following AMD stock. I'm also going to need AMD's current share price as of this recording. AMD is trading at $181 per share. And finally, I'm going to need AMD's price to earnings forward 1-year ratio. As of this recording is trading at a forward PE of 33. Surprisingly, this is more expensive than Nvidia's forward price to earnings ratio, which is roughly around 30. So AMD is trading at a more expensive valuation than Nvidia, despite the fact that Nvidia is already benefiting significantly from rising effectiveness of AI, and its AI chips are at least one step ahead of AMD's AI, and the company is already demonstrating superior growth. So this is surprising for me, to be sure. Regardless, I have both AMD and Nvidia stocks rated as buys. I have them both rated as top stocks to buy. I like Nvidia, I should say, more than AMD, but I think both of them are poised to benefit from this surge in demand for artificial intelligence. So if I could draw your attention here to the earnings per share for 2025, $5.47. Remember, this number I got from the forecast on Yahoo Finance. I also got from Yahoo Finance the growth rate for earnings per share for the next 5 years at 25%. Now, when I apply that 25% growth rate to the $5.47 in earnings per share, I get an earnings per share for the year 2030 of $16.69. Now remember, when I'm making a price forecast for 2029, I need the earnings per share for 2030. So that's why I've calculated and forecasted these earnings per share. So if you apply that $16.69 earnings per share for 2030 with the price to earnings forward multiple of 33, then AMD stock price could reach as high as $550 per share by 2029 or in 5 years. Now, if you look at the current share price of 181, that would be a roughly tripling of the company's stock price, a robust return on investment, to be sure. And you can understand now why I have AMD stock rated as a top stock to buy. Its prospects are solid for the next 5 years. But what if the forward PE were to fall to 30, which I think is a more realistic scenario for AMD's forward price to earnings to fall a little bit, at least to approach where Nvidia is, which is closer to a forward PE of 30. That could mean the stock price rises, but not as high, increases to $500 per share. If the forward PE were to fall to 25, then the stock price could increase to between $417 per share, I should say. And if the forward PE were to fall significantly to 15, the stock price would still increase to $250 per share by 2029. So the big booster here of AMD's share price is the growth in earnings per share. If its earnings per share does indeed increase at the rate at which Wall Street analysts expect it to increase, then AMD stock price is likely to be much higher 5 years from now than from where it is today. Now, how much higher? that's where it becomes more of a projection. And I would say my base case scenario for where I think AMD stock price will be 5 years from now is I expect the forward price to earnings ratio to fall somewhere between 27 to 32. So I would say the price, AMD stock price, will be somewhere in the range of $475 per share to $525 per share in 2029. So this is where I think the stock price could be, of course, assuming that it continues on this trajectory of earnings per share growth. If this earnings per share estimate were to decrease, if there's any indication that AMD's earnings are not going to grow at this rate, then this price prediction is going to be significantly lower. And of course, I monitored these factors extensively, and if there is a change, I do update these price predictions and price targets. And so if there is a change to any of these factors, I will update this stock price prediction for AMD stock. But as it stands now, this is my prediction, and you can understand why I've rated AMD stock as one of my top stocks to buy in 2024. I've had it rated as one of my top stocks to buy all year long, and it's already performed relatively well to begin the year. And you can see from this price target that I feel there's a lot more room to run here for AMD stock. I have similar feelings for Nvidia stock. I feel Nvidia has a lot of room to run higher. It's because there's so much demand for artificial intelligence. We're seeing that already in the results. It's not just hype, it's not just enthusiasm. This is actual results. It's different than what we're seeing in many other categories. Like, for instance, a couple of years ago when you saw that boom in prices for EV stocks, that was different because that was not supported by actual profit and cash flow growth. That was supported more so by enthusiasm, by the hope for what it could be several years into the future without very much tangible results just yet. It's different here for artificial intelligence because we're seeing a lot of tangible results. Companies in this area continue reporting better than expected results, and you've seen that with Nvidia, you've seen that with Taiwan Semiconductor, you've seen that with ARM Holdings, you've seen that with several companies that are associated with providing companies artificial intelligence hardware or software. Demand for that category is surging, and so we're already seeing revenue, profit, and cash flow increase, and we're already seeing that, and the demand for these products seems to be strong for at least a couple more years into the future. According to Statista, artificial intelligence industry demand, industry spending was roughly $200 billion in 2023. That's expected to explode to over $1.5 trillion by the year 2030. So a nearly 7x increase in demand in spending in artificial intelligence, both hardware and software. So all of the indications point to soaring demand for artificial intelligence. AMD is poised to benefit from that growth. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.